Welcome guys and gals to Veve Vibes, where I love talking all things Veve NFTs, speculation, and most importantly, the market. Now, if you're anything like me and you feel like you really missed out on the whole first appearance pump of DC as well as Marvel, I'm right there with you, and it seems like the only things that are worthwhile buying are north of 400 gems, and I really wanted to make a video to help you guys out that are on a budget, that have roughly under 100 gems that are willing to spend. If it is your last 100 gems, I do not suggest you spend your last 100 gems on these NFTs. You should always save enough gems for any kind of drops that could happen, you know, within the next like week or couple weeks or whatever. But again, this is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion, just for educational and entertainment purposes, of course. So all these are going to be DC as well as Marvel, and they are all going to be first appearance, and these are all going to be under 100 gems. I'm not saying any of these are going to moon like Todd or Amazing Spider-Man or Superman or anything like that. Those guys have already been pumped, and they might keep going. They might retrace a bit, who knows. But I really wanted to give an option for you guys that are on a budget below 100 gems to get things going. And I've actually already opened up a few different tabs, so you guys can check these out immediately. Whoever's listening, I would love Omi the Clown if you were able to add a tab here where you could just kind of queue up as many different NFTs as you could, that you could, like, whenever you click that tab, it just queues up all those NFTs you've already kind of added. Like, it's a separate tab that you can add them. Anyway, long story short, we'll go ahead and get started. I would say the first one is Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. I'm surprised this one was just kind of like laying around there. It's funny, when you click on the Spider-Man category under the market in Veve, you see all these Spider-Mans that are hundreds of gems, all the amazing ones, and the Ben Reilly and all this and that. But there's this Zombie Hunter one, which I think is recently getting pumped, obviously just in conjunction with the Spider-Man kind of hype, but also the movie's coming out. And if you haven't noticed here, if you look on the right side, he's actually wearing Doctor Strange's cape, which in the most recent movie that's going to be coming up, Spider-Man Enter the Multiverse, I think that's the name of the movie, Doctor Strange is in the movie, and there's going to be multiple Spider-Mans. The other thing too is that there's only 18,000 editions of this. Now, the Amazing Spider-Man common that recently got pumped from like 180 gems all the way up to like 420, that one has more, almost double the amount of editions as this. I think the Amazing Spider-Man has 32,000, so this one has about half. Again, I'm not saying these are gonna like 40x over the next like month, few months or year or anything like that, but I do think this is a very inexpensive pickup if you want to have a Marvel first appearance that is kind of in the Spider-Verse or anything like that's the movie Into the Spider-Verse, I believe. So yeah, I think the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, it's already recently gotten pumped, but it's still at a very affordable rate. I think I picked up a couple of these when it was at like low 80s, maybe high 70s, not too long ago. So yeah, I think like literally like earlier today or yesterday, I remember buying a few of these, and it's already getting pumped up all the way up to 95. So this is a good pickup if you guys can. It's going to soon hit probably 100 or maybe beyond that in the near future. Who knows? The next one I would recommend is Catwoman. And actually, I would say position, but I ordered these, and obviously in price, but also just in general hype, I definitely think like Zombie Hunting Spider-Man is going to go a bit higher than like Catwoman and all the other ones I'm about to mention here. But Catwoman was definitely part of the pump. It went all the way up to 111. Now it's actually retraced all the way down to 95. So this could be a good entry point if you guys do have under 100 gems. Catwoman is one of the more iconic villains that fought against Batman on a pretty frequent basis. And I believe she even teamed up with him on a handful of occasions, like in the movies, the comics, as well as like the cartoons and things like that. And she's definitely more of the risque ones. And I would definitely say that there are people that are probably into that style, a villain, as well as I believe she is the only like female villain that is at like the NFT right now, because I think not only a female villain, but for like Batman, like there's no Poison Ivy yet. I think there's a few others I can't think of off the top of my head, but I do think Catwoman is a decent pickup. So either you can wait and see if she retraces a bit further, maybe down to like 85, 80. I think that's going to be a good pickup, but at the end of the day, she's still a first appearance. She's still under that DC logo, and she's surrounded by all the other NFTs that are going to be very high priced. So I do think she is a good pickup. And again, only 10,000 editions on this one. So I do think this one could get eaten up rather quickly. So Catwoman, I do think is a good pickup. The next one is, this is probably one of my, like, this kind of came out of nowhere, but this is definitely one of my favorite NFTs. Mostly because I kind of actually looked into the story of Batman number 89, which is actually in the comics called The Batman Who Laughs. Again, this is part of the Black and White series. It is first appearance. So anytime someone clicks that Black and White series, again, it's surrounded by all the other Batmans that are worth easily hundreds, if not thousands of gems at this point. So The Batman Who Laughs, the comic, I'll give like a very, very brief synopsis. This picture that is of Batman right here is like an extremely PG version of what the comic actually is. I won't give away too many spoilers, but essentially like this happens within the first few pages. But basically Batman and Joker kind of not necessarily fuse together, but something happens where Batman basically adopts the personality traits of Joker. So you have like the physicality, the strategicness, and the know-how of like Batman, and you add like basically the kind of like insanity portion and the sadism and the removal of the moral compass of any kind, and add that to Batman. And that at that point, that is a very, very strong character and is a very well-written comic. I have not read it personally, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos kind of going through it like page by page and people giving reviews on it. I do recommend Comics Explained. If you guys are curious about like anything comic related, I highly suggest you guys go on YouTube and look up Comics Explained. You guys can literally look up any comic or any character. You guys can look up like World Breaker Hulk. You guys can look up like Beta Ray Bill. You guys can look up Odin Thor or anything like that. Like there are lots of stories out there that are amazing. And I really like the story of Batman because he came extremely powerful. Again, only 16,000 issues. That's roughly half the amount that Spider-Man has. It was part of the pump most recently. I bought a few of these, I believe, at around 70 to 77 gems, so it hasn't increased as much since I bought it. But I definitely think this is one that could go much, much higher as just it progresses on, because it is part of that black and white series. It is first appearance. It is definitely one of the most unique looking Batmans. That is for darn sure. So I would say that, as well as check out the comic when you guys can. That is number 89 Batman. The next one is Batgirl. This one did get recently pumped. I would say this is probably one of my, I would say favorite NFTs. I know they're all my favorite, but I like this one because like all the other DC like NFTs are so serious. She's like fun and lighthearted and like taking a screenshot or taking a selfie of herself. And it's probably obviously one of like the lesser known superheroes, and it could be a bit more niche. But again, at least there is been history of her at least getting some hype, right? There was some excitement. One happened not too long ago, probably because of the Artist Alley thing. Her, as well as like Supergirl, also got pumped recently as well. I think that's something that could happen with Catgirl, maybe not too far in the near future, where there could be like another Artist Alley, or if they do add a second Catgirl NFT. Whenever that happens, people always bring their attention back to the first appearances and start investing in that. You could see that happen pretty much across the board anytime like a second version of an NFT that already exists or that already has a first appearance happens. So I would say the same thing with Batgirl, and this is a pretty, in my opinion, pretty budget-friendly entry point. At 65 gems, you can maybe even buy 2 of these if you wanted to. Again, I don't think this is one that's gonna like pump as much as like Todd or anything like that, but this is definitely like a budget-friendly version. It's still first appearance. She I would say she's a 1-of-1, but there's the Artist Alley version of her, and again, only 14,000 or 13,000 editions of her as well. And she is part of the Catwoman, Supergirl, Mira kind of series as well. But I really like this NFT. I've already picked up, I don't know if I got 1 or 2 of her, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I do think this is a decent pickup for the price. And last but certainly not least is Zombie Captain America. I know this is one that like, it got a lot of smack talk and a lot of hate and all that kind of stuff. I get it. It's not like the typical Captain America and all that. But again, right now it has some history of actually getting some hype around it, where it's going up and down. When you see things on a downward trend and or just flat, at least on this ecomi.wiki site, you know that's an issue. But at least there is some movement happening with the Zombie Captain America. Which is pretty nice. And again, it's only at 45 gems. So you can actually pair this up with Batgirl and Zombie Captain America, grab 1 of each. And at that point, you just got two pretty decent first appearance NFTs that are both in the DC and the Marvel universe. And the other thing too, I didn't know this actually happened, but Marvel has already announced, or actually already released a show called What If. And as you can see here in the back, like there's Zombie Captain America. It's already published. They've already officially released content about Zombie Captain America. I know there was comics prior, but now there's actually like a show about it. I think they're going to release their 2nd season in 2022. So I think as long as this show is going and at least people like know who Zombie Captain America is and stuff like that, I definitely see this NFT at least staying flat or at least going up at the very least. I don't see it going down or crashing or anything kind of crazy like that. But again, not financial advice. No one knows what's going to happen. The whole NFT space is brand new to everyone at this point. And again, if we scroll down, 18,000 editions, so half as much as Spider-Man. So all the NFTs I showed you guys either had half or a third as many editions as like the Amazing Spider-Man, which again, I know that's like in its own league. It's on like the front, it's on like the cover page, or I'd say like the loading screen of Eevee. It's a completely iconic Spider-Man in its own way. But I definitely think a lot of these are actually pretty budget friendly. If you guys only have 100 or maybe a couple hundred gems to spend and you just can't afford that Spider-Man or the Todd or or Superman or anything like that, but you still want to get something DC or Marvel related, I definitely think these 5 NFTs are good pickups. So I'll go through them again. Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, Catwoman, number 89 Batman. Oh, dude, that is so cool. I might actually buy another one of them. Who knows? I really, really like that look and just the whole story. And I think if you guys are bored, if you guys are looking at stuff, I think you guys should look at some of the comics or things surrounding that character, because then you have a whole nother level of appreciation for it at the end of the day. Batgirl, and of course, Zombie Captain America. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'd love to get your comments down below if there's any NFTs that I missed that are in Marvel and DC that are both that are first appearances and that are pretty like budget friendly in your opinion. Let me know and what you guys think about the list as well. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys take care, and I'll see you on the flip side.